When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." Fred Rogers. Hello and welcome to another episode of On Public Square. We've been recording a lot here lately. Just finished up recording with our chief of staff, which you would have heard earlier this week from when this one comes out. But today I'm here to talk about community and being a good neighbor and what we can do to help each other, especially in trying times. I am here today with our director of the Department of Neighborhood and Community Services, Michelle Austin. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Casey.
How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you here. I've been looking forward to talking with you about several things for a little while. And as we're moving into the colder months, it's on a lot of people's mind, these types of things. So definitely good to talk them out and share some info that people need to know. But we always start with introductions. Of course, I just said your name. Can you tell us your title, how long you've been with the city, and just a little about yourself?
I would love to. So, again, my name is Michelle Austin. I've been in Clarksville my entire life. My family has actually been here for generations. We have a farm just south of the river. I've been in civil service in one role or another for about 27 years now. I spent 11 years with the Department of General Services at the state of Tennessee. So I'm very familiar with state operations, state legislature, things like that. But as my child aged a little bit, and I was a single mom at the time, I needed to find a home in Clarksville. And I was so grateful to be able to start off with Parks and Recreation. So I spent 11 years with Clarksville Parks and Recreation in several different roles. That was the job for me at the time. I love getting kids active in team sports. I love helping families recreate and come together and anything community. So I loved Parks and Rec. And then Mayor Pitts tapped me a couple years ago for a position leading the Department of Neighborhood and Community Services. It's a small department, and honestly, I didn't know a lot about it when he reached out to me. But I learned that the department and the role is all about community and building relationships and helping our neighbors, and that I'm here for it. It's been a blessing to serve in this role.
I feel like you've really brought a breath of fresh air to that department too. I'm not criticizing previous folks in that department, but it definitely feels like a lot of energy down there.
Yeah, I think so. My department sometimes referred to as housing because we do focus on affordable housing. And I think the housing field is very HUD and it's very rigid and there's all these rules. But I think, I built a lot of relationships with some of our nonprofits and community leaders when I was at Parks and Recreation. And it was great to bring those relationships over. And the department is not just using these HUD funds to house and help people, but it is really building relationships. And so I tell people, I just left the Clarksville Association of Realtors. I was talking to their local experts class, and I said, if you see somebody in need and it doesn't really fit into our bubble, just give us a call, and we know who to connect that family with to provide them with whatever they need to get through whatever they're getting through.
I was just talking with one of my students, and I teach at one of our community colleges, who is working on social work degree and was looking, and I was showing them y'all's webpage a little bit and just talking about y'all are on the smaller side as far as a team goes, but you have people that really care about Clarksville in that office, really care about people.
Absolutely. So we hire for culture here at the city of Clarksville. It's not just skills, but we make sure that it's the people that are coming here for the right reasons, and that is to serve the people of Clarksville. Same thing goes in our office. We are actually, it just happens, we are 9 women in that office, and we, majority of us are mamas, and we just have this heart to serve and love on people. And it's just a blessing to work with those ladies every day.
I love LaVon insists that if Kiddo visits me at the office, I got to bring him down to say hi to LaVon and everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, always a good time. I had forgotten about the name change until you said that just now. What was it previously? Was that before you got to the department or after?
It was. I think it was Housing and Community Development.
Yeah. Good name change. I think the current name suits.
we are all about neighbors, and
Yeah.
we try to tailor that in all of our messaging, that it's neighbors helping neighbors,
Mhm,
be a good neighbor. We love our neighbors, and
mhm. Also going back, I'm glad to have a Montgomery Central area kid with me for once. I've had a lot of
mhm,
Northwest alumni here
mhm.
recently. We have a lot of Northwest alumni here. I feel a little lonely being south of the river.
Yeah, well, go Indians.
There you go. We've kind of already touched on this just a little bit, but when Clarksvillians experience a disaster, that's a time when your department is really on the front line of things. And of course, the everyday stuff too. There's the home repair program.
Mm,
There's all sorts of relief efforts and working with people, but those are everyday things. We've seen a couple hard times in Clarksville in the past couple years. I'm thinking of the tornado 2 almost 3 years ago now, I guess. I'm thinking of flooding, I'm thinking of anything in that realm. CNCS is often on the front lines of making sure those folks are taken care of. When it comes to responding to those events, how would you define neighborhood and
mhm.
community services role?
Yeah, so we are not first responders by any means, but we are first helpers,
Mm,
I like to say, because and it's not us feeling the need, right? We wanna
mhm,
connect with that resident and identify what it is that they need to recover, and then connect them
mhm,
with whatever nonprofit is out there doing the good work. And I'm telling you right now, Clarksville is so very fortunate to have so many amazing organizations who are dedicated to helping the people of Clarksville. We have some amazing executive directors in the right seat right now, so it's a good
mhm,
time to be doing this work. But we often come in from a humanitarian standpoint, right?
mhm,
Our firefighters are doing one job, our street department's doing another job, our police officers are doing another job. But when it comes to connecting with the people and providing them with
mhm,
food and housing and whatever it is they need to, shelter in the storm, it's not us doing it. We're
mhm.
just making those connections. So
Yeah.
we're reaching out to our best friends over at United Way or
Mhm.
at Community Action Agency or, Life Point Church or Mosaic Church. Man, they stepped up in some big ways. They were the first
100%.
people on boots on the ground after the tornado. But again, we're not doing it. We're just making sure somebody's
Mhm.
doing it, and we're just making those connections.
And your department works probably more than any, aside from the mayor directly working with the community. But as far as the department goes, y'all really use those connections outside of the city government quite a lot. You mentioned Mosaic and Life Point. I think of Loaves and Fishes. I think of Manna. I think of Urban
Mhm,
Ministries. Just all of these incredible organizations
mhm.
and kind of putting things together and helping people communicate. That's kind of unique for your department amongst what the city does in other avenues.
Yeah. Well, yes, I have the best job in the city, I will say, and so does my team, because we do get to, connect with some really great people in those organizations. But again, I'm so grateful that they're there, and
Mhm,
we just want to again make those
mhm.
connections.
We just honored one of those folks, from Mana. We had the Kenny York,
Mhm.
Memorial, drive sign go up, and it looks really good over there by the building.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Manna knows exactly what they're doing. Vicky's
Mhm.
doing an amazing
She is doing an
job.
amazing job.
Oh my goodness. And I just love the way that they love on people who need love
Mhm.
so much.
And they're
Um,
willing to adapt. That's one thing that I've always loved about Mana. When a new need arises or they hear about something, they jump on, "Okay, well, how can we, help with that?" I know when,
mhm,
it was brought up, we need someone to do, like, to have showers open for people, they jumped on that, and
mhm.
they're good about being reactive and listening.
Yes, they're very nimble, and I'll tell you, they treat their clients with so much grace and dignity.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Manna.
Love it. Great people doing great things. That's what we like to hear here in Clarksville and everywhere. Moving on. I kind of want to get the big thing out of the way that's on everyone's minds.
Mhm.
Of course, that's the government shutdown and effects on folks who receive aid, primarily through SNAP. And we at the city have been monitoring that situation. Of course, by the time this comes out, maybe the shutdown's over,
God
but it,
willing.
God willing, but the situation won't go away immediately after that. It's going to
No.
take some time for things to pick up. And we're already seeing that food banks and our nonprofits are uh, really being uh, put to the test as far as resources and um, just the volume of people that are needing assistance right now.
Mhm.
We've already started putting out some information. We've created a hub for people to find information. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So again, this is another example of we're not doing it, but everybody else is. We're just connecting the people to the
Mhm,
resources. So yes, we've created a web page where we have resources listed for our military. MWR is really connecting a lot of our active duty military with programs that are specific to them. So I will say that we have a lot of organizations who are in the food business here in Clarksville. There is no reason why anybody in Clarksville should ever go hungry. We have multiple agencies who provide food boxes regularly,
mhm,
and they do that through support from Second Harvest Food Bank. That being said, Second Harvest Food Bank has been feeling the stretch of government funds for a little while, and their food supply has been dwindling,
mhm.
especially loaves and fishes. And if you're not familiar with loaves and fishes, they provide hot meals 6 days a week at their facility over on Crossland Avenue.
Mhm.
And John Darnell is running that program. And can I just say, he has the heart for the work that he
Yes, he
does. If
does.
you have not seen it, he posted a call to Clarksville, an invitation to Clarksville. If you're hungry,
Mhm.
come eat. And that is to reduce the stigma that you have to be homeless to go and get a meal at Loaves and Fishes.
100%.
They take everybody. That being said, they're feeling, some shortage of food that they're getting from Second Harvest Food Bank as well. So we have lots of food drives that are happening here in Clarksville to try and fill
Mhm.
that need. And we have put out a call to action for that. And we have some information on our website. Not only does it have the food listings, but it also has ways that you can help your neighbor by donating to this institution, or this agency. One thing I'm really excited about is the Hunters for the Hungry
Yes, I
programs.
wanted to talk about this.
So we just put out that press release yesterday. I know me as a sportsman who will be headed to the woods tomorrow morning for muzzleloader season. My goal is to take down 2 doe in the morning so I can get them over to
Mhm,
Dover Road to that processor. But before we put out that release, we made some phone calls to see, okay, if we do this, who can take venison?
mhm,
We know Austin Peay's Food Pantry. They
mhm,
offer venison and teach their students how to cook it properly
mhm.
because wild game is new to a lot of
Oh,
people.
yeah, for sure.
Um, checked with Loaves and Fishes. They use venison a lot in their hot
I didn't
meals.
know that, that's cool.
Yes, I was surprised too. And then I checked with Manna and Urban Ministries. Both give out food boxes and are struggling to provide meat. They do not use Hunters for the Harvest, but they are reaching out to set up that relationship. That being said, the processor that I talked to, Hunters for the Harvest over on Dover Road, they said they can take anything that Clarksville brings to them. So there's a little bit of a challenge there. If you're a sportsman and you only need one deer for your family, think about your neighbors. Sorry, I geek out a little bit on this.
No, I'm all for it. I'm not gonna go on Saturday just because I gotta be at the parade to take photos and things like that, but I'm
Oh,
looking
sorry
forward to
for
getting out in the
that.
woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, and muzzleloader is my favorite. I love the smell of gunpowder.
Hmm.
It's a good time.
Yes. And just of note, one harvested deer provides 168 servings of protein.
Mhm,
So that's feeding a lot of
mhm,
people. And especially for loaves and fishes right now when they're trying to
mhm,
divide the bread and the fishes,
mhm.
let's send them some venison to fill those baskets.
100%. We need to get Penny on with her, culinary classes, get her to do a cooking with venison class
Yeah,
over at Parks.
that would be great.
Yeah, and for those out there, who are unfamiliar, this is also great for the deer population in a sort of roundabout
Oh
way.
yeah, absolutely.
Overpopulation's a big issue this year in particular
Mhm.
from what I've heard.
Yeah, there's a couple of different viruses that are out there that the
Mhm.
deer are battling right now. And I'm not going to get into too much about them because that's kind of gross. But a lot of that is due to the
Mhm.
overpopulation of our deer. So this is a way for us to have some wildlife conservation
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
also put food on some plates.
Mhm. Can't wait to make some deer chili this year.
Mhm.
I love venison. It's my favorite. So good. Awesome. Okay, so definitely check that out, and I will put a link to Hunters for the Harvest in the description of this if you're curious about how it works. A note, because someone asked me, and it's in our press release, but if you are donating a deer, you do not have to. The processing fees are covered,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
really cool. An uncle of mine asked me because he said that used to not be the case, but he's like, "Oh,
Really?
I'll donate now."
Mm.
Of course, we're also coming up. So, another thing that's on people's minds, we're coming up on the cold season. I've already heard the S word be thrown around for as early as next week. I'm
Mhm.
hoping not.
I hope not as well, because our warming shelters aren't ready yet.
No.
I took a call with some of our Canopy Initiative members just a little while ago, and that are working out the plans for our warming shelter that's scheduled to open on December 1st.
Okay.
So let me back up a little bit. We have a homeless coalition here in Clarksville that's made up of about 30 organizations.
Hmm.
And those are nonprofits, those are churches, those are government agencies that all come together once a month and work through um, strategically addressing homelessness in our community. So, with that, there's a lot of collaboration that happens to prevent the duplication of services and also identifying gaps. One of those is our warming shelter. So, thanks to Clarksville Area Urban Ministries, the Salvation Army, Irene Center for Hope, Community Action Agency, all of those folks have come to the table and have worked out a plan to best serve our unhoused through the colder months of the year.
Hmm.
Traditionally, we open our warming shelter when the temperature drops below 35 degrees 3 nights in a row.
Hmm.
That being said, it looks like that's going to start on December 1st. So they are prepared to open on December 1st this year. What that's going to look like is our single men are going to be housed at Madison Street United Methodist Church,
Hmm.
led by Urban Ministries. Our single women are going to be at Salvation Army, and they have 4 family rooms. So the first 4 families that are in need of shelter will be sheltered there. Any families with small children after that will be housed in hotels.
Hmm.
We really don't want children in our shelters. That's not the right place for
Hmm.
them. So it's really great to see all of those organizations come together and put together a plan to best align all of their
Hmm.
programs to meet the need here in Clarksville.
Lots of good work. I didn't. So the Canopy Initiative, is that part of the homelessness coalition, or is
Oh,
it separate?
no, the Homeless Coalition, we have rebranded the Canopy Initiative.
Oh,
And so
okay.
it's the same thing. It's
Mm.
just that's our branding. Like we are, an umbrella to,
I like that name.
protect our neighbors. And so you can find out more information about the Canopy Initiative. Also up to date, up to the minute information on our shelters, whether they're
Hmm.
open or closed, who to call if you're a family on our website. So if
Hmm.
you go to the City of Clarksville's website, you just type in homelessness, you're going to land on our
Hmm.
homelessness / canopy initiative page.
And I'll plug in the link here as well for people who would like to find it. But lots of great
Mm.
information. I'm so frustrated with the cold weather moving in so soon. It's gonna be a cold one, I think. But
It
we're
is.
gonna.
And I love winter, not winter. I mean, I love cold season, but it just takes on a whole new light when you're working with people who
Yeah.
are
I
on the
just
streets.
I just want to fall, man. I just want that fall for a little
Mhm.
bit. It's the best time of year.
It is the best time of year, especially in Tennessee. We are so fortunate. I think many mornings I enjoy fixing my cup of coffee and walking out on the deck and
Hmm.
just looking at this landscape that God has made and presented to us and blesses us with every morning. It's just
Yeah,
very fortunate.
bonfires and chili and taking
Deer
the kids to
season.
yes, deer season. Love it. Hopefully we'll get a little fall in there somewhere. I want to talk about the home repair program because I've been talking with Levon a lot about that, and we're about to do a big push on more info for the home repair program because it's really cool.
Great.
Uh,
Yes. Our home repair program is geared to help our low income residents,
mhm.
especially in our legacy neighborhoods. And those are our low income census tracts here in Clarksville, our older homes. and our seniors. And what that means is if somebody has a roof that is failing, oh my goodness, if you have a roof leak, you need to fix that as soon as possible because that is going to lead to so much more substantial damage in
Mhm.
your home. And we don't want financing to be a barrier for that. So if your roof is leaking, come see us and let's fix that right away. Also, if you have a failure with your electrical systems
Mhm.
or your plumbing or maybe your structure, maybe you did have a roof leak and you did let it go for a while and now your roofs are falling in, your floors are falling. We can help you with that as well. Our big thing is HVAC.
Mhm.
So this is that time of year where people are kicking on their heat for the first time and learning that it's not working. And that's where we can come in to help. That could be a $9,000 expense out of pocket
Mhm.
for, a family who is already struggling, and we can help with that. So, we encourage especially HVACs. We like doing that work because it's quick and easy. We can get them out of the
Yeah.
door. So if you're experiencing some issues with your heat and your home appraises for under $171,000, give us a call. That's that threshold, that HUD, that cutoff for those
Mhm.
HUD funds. And that is really easy to learn what your current tax appraisal. We work from the tax appraisal.
Mhm.
So if you just pull up your address on the tax assessor's website, you can see what the current tax appraisal is on your home. If it's under 271, give us a call.
I've said this, and I know whenever I end up talking with our grant writers, especially, I've said it to Lauren, I've said it to Carly, to a bunch, all the navigating of grants and and federal funding and stuff. I don't know how y'all do it. It gives me a headache just thinking about it. I'm so impressed with y'all's ability to navigate those systems and.
And it's not easy. I mean, I'll tell you right now, and I have this conversation with my husband. It is not easy to get into federally funded programs. So
Mhm.
if you're abusing it, you've done your work because it is really hard to abuse federally funded program.
Mhm.
The intake is not easy. There is so much red tape on the client's side and on our side. And I think for us, again, I'm so very fortunate to be surrounded by women who are so very driven to help people that those barriers, we just try to not to make them barriers and see just work forward to make things work for
Mhm.
our clients.
We have all-star grant writers at the city of Clarksville. Again, shout out to Lauren Winters and Carly Summers and all
Mhm,
those incredible folks who go out and find that money to help get Clarksville what it needs. I think of all of our accessibility stuff here lately. Lauren's had some big wins with like the adult changing tables
mhm.
at city facilities. The pedestrian bridge, I think, that's coming to the Cumberland River or Red River rather. I believe that was grant funded.
Yeah, as a Parks and Rec kid, I'm really excited about that. We've
I'm
been watching
so
that
excited.
project for a long
It's
time.
gonna make it so much safer to get across the river as a
Mhm.
pedestrian.
Can I just give a plug real quick? That's gonna create 9 miles of greenway. That is gonna be
I
9 miles
know.
that you can traverse from North Clarksville to South Clarksville without ever encountering a vehicle. It's
Mhm.
gonna be a game changer. It's gonna be a regional draw for Clarksville.
Yes.
Really excited about that project.
And then once Liberty Parkway's next phase gets done and that all connects, that adds another several miles.
Mhm.
It's really great. And between that, I believe the county's working a lot on greenway stuff too.
They are.
Um,
There's a really cool plan. If you geek out on, bike peds, related things, check out the Clarksville, Montgomery County Greenway, Blueway,
mhm.
Bikeway master plan. It's really cool, like,
It
how
is.
that is, like, s planned out across our community. And we can't do it all at once, of course, and property's not always available, but whenever it does, they scoop it up to try and put that puzzle together and make those
Mhm.
pedestrian connections across our
Mm.
community.
I remember sitting in a meeting with Jennifer Letourneau and and the mayor and some other folks as they were trying to figure out like, okay, how are we getting from Valley Brook down to the next sidewalk connection to Liberty Park?
Mhm.
The elevation made it really complicated. It was just like, okay, if we go here, but then no, that doesn't work. Can we go here? It's
Yeah.
very neat.
Yeah, I was part of the and this is probably not related to what you're talking with me
Eh.
about, but I was part of the team that helped put together the Greenway Blueway
Mhm.
master plan, and it was a group of cyclists here in Clarksville, different realtors here in Clarksville. It was like a really cool group, and just looking at the map of Clarksville and identifying all of those places across our community that we want to connect people, and then looking at properties or next to waterways, how we can make those connections for pedestrians. It's really cool. So check out that
Yeah.
map. I love how we even had some folks from Fort Campbell in the meeting
Mhm.
and identifying how we can tie a greenway down Tiny Town into the new museum that's being built there
Ooh.
off of
Wings of
Fort
Liberty
Campbell
over there off
Boulevard.
Fort Campbell Boulevard.
Yeah,
That's gonna be so cool.
yeah.
It's gonna be
So,
so cool. I'm really excited to visit that and take kiddo who's into all that, into planes
mhm,
and stuff right now, so I am excited. I kinda wonder, with neighborhood and community services, often y'all are dealing with, I don't like saying, often y'all are working with folks who are maybe not having the best time,
mhm,
their best time at the time that they see y'all.
mm.
Y'all get we're talking about fun things that parks do. Are there any things on that kind of fun side of things that y'all get to do with neighborhood and community development?
Um, well, I think we get to work directly with our citizens,
Mhm.
and we're not always in a position that we're saying no. We get to say yes a lot. We
That's
get
fair.
to we get to help people, and that just like fills your heart,
Mhm.
and that's the best part of the job. And
Mhm.
even when it is working with our unhoused, so often we see people
Mhm.
and we see them, on our sidewalks or around town, and we see that they're struggling, and they are likely at one of the lowest
Mhm.
points in their life. And sometimes just sitting down and having a conversation with somebody,
Mhm.
them knowing that they've been seen and heard and that somebody cares enough to talk to them can make a big difference.
Mhm.
And you learn a lot about folks that but just by having conversations.
Mhm.
There's a couple that's been hanging out in front of City Hall here recently. So that's Sally and Ray, of note. They've been in Clarksville for a while. Ray came down from Hopkinsville. They are living on our streets. I think they're, well, I'm not going to mention where I think they're staying, but they're
Yeah.
hanging out in the downtown area. Um, Good people, but ran into some hard times.
Mhm.
Everybody has a story, some situations, and now here they are. And really, they just need somebody to
Mhm.
provide them with some care, and take a
Mhm.
chance on them.
I you Y'all definitely, I think, get to see the effect that you have on people more than some departments where they're thinking like 10 years ahead. They're thinking about projects that are gonna affect Clarksville one day, but your
Hmm.
department gets to do something about right now a lot of the time that I think is really cool. And some of my favorite things that I've been to with y'all are like the home restoration program, going to these folks whose houses were in need of basically a complete refit, and
Hmm.
that really changes lives.
Yeah, Casey, can I just say I have the best job ever because I, again, get to bring help and hope to people.
Hmm.
We're not doing it. Again, we're making connections, connecting people to the
Hmm.
resources here. But every once in a while, we get to put keys to a new home in the
Hmm.
hands of somebody who needs it. It's a pretty amazing, touching
Hmm.
experience.
That last one we went to, the whole family was like, the whole family and friends in the neighborhood were there to
Mhm.
welcome their neighbor back home, and it was really cool.
Yeah, and it's not just, Casey's referring to our home reconstruction program.
Reconstruction. I think I said
Yeah.
restoration.
Well, we're not doing the reconstruction program anymore. We have
Mhm.
2 homes that are grandfathered in that we're working on right now. Um, yeah, so every once in a while, we get to work with these clients and, sometimes do some major renovations to their homes and giving them the keys back to their home where the floors are no longer falling in. Them and their wheelchair can now traverse into the home that they've been in for 60 years, where they raised their kids. That's the big blessing that we see in this program is that our seniors can age in place. We can make those things happen, um, so they can stay in their forever home forever.
Yeah, I love it. Great stuff. You Something that always impresses me about not you and your whole team, but you're in front of me, so this is less of a question and more I just wanna compliment you for a moment.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about different things today, but it's all about helping people. And something that I really love about your department is you don't just help people, but you empower them. It's not you pick people up in a lot of ways, and I think the home repair stuff is a good example of that. But I think you in particular just have a real skill for putting yourself in other people's shoes. And I say that when the tornado happened,
Mhm.
you took a bunch of folks, a lot of us went out and just knocked doors to let people know what sources were available and just check in on folks. And I always appreciate that when we have meetings with multiple departments, um, when we're working with folks from like the Woodstock neighborhood, I know has
Yeah.
been a really good example. You're
Mhm.
always the first one to think, well, how is it going to make people feel if we say it this way? And I always appreciate your ability to empathize with people like that.
Thank
And it's true
you.
of your whole department, but
Yeah. I think you have to have that in order to do this work, because we're not doing this work for ourselves, we're doing this for these neighbors. So when we are in those meetings with other city leaders, that's my job, is to be
mhm,
their voice and speak for them because 'cause they're not in the room
yeah.
to.
I often my job makes me put on the cynicism hat, like the
Mhm.
how are people gonna be upset about this thing if we say it this way? I like that you're able to say, well, how is this going to impact people or how are they gonna take this?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of, decisions, that things that come from the city of Clarksville, especially when it comes to disaster relief. I'm very grateful that I get to be in that room
Mhm,
and be that voice for the people who are affected, because I want it to be tailored in a way so people are receiving it and making sure that we communicate it through the right channels to make sure it gets to the right people.
mhm.
Um, yes, I'm grateful to have that opportunity.
Yeah. We've been working a lot together on some of that stuff, especially with, like, water and rainfall damage and things like
Oh
that.
my goodness, yeah.
But, I think there's been a lot of progress on that. People can or have seen, I think we're moving forward on some of that stuff and can't wait for people to see a little more of what's going on to make situations better.
Absolutely. And I just want to put a plug in there that if you do have a neighbor or you know of somebody who is still struggling from one of the flood
Mhm,
events from earlier this year, or even the tornado from 23, if you've got a neighbor that you see is still struggling, reach out to me at Neighborhood and Community
mhm,
Services, because that should not be the case. And if that is happening, then there's a barrier there. And I
mhm.
might be able to connect them with one of our nonprofits who might be able to
Yeah.
fill that gap.
Where are we at recover I know water damage stuff is still a very much ongoing process. Where are we at with tornado recovery now? I feel like I haven't checked in on it in a while.
So, it's still going. Appalachian Service Project is in Clarksville right now. I think they just constructed the final 3 homes for people who, lost their home in that tornado that were
Mm,
low income, and they are building those homes for them free of
that's
charge.
awesome. That's really
Yes,
cool.
it is very cool, but they are also staying in town to, build homes for people who were renting during the time of the tornado. These are families who were already struggling financially before the tornado. Then they lost their apartment and they're still been in long-term recovery. So they've been in our case management program. But the city of Clarksville just purchased one lot over on Cedar Street that's going to be divided to provide 3 homes for Appalachian Service Project to construct. And then the city just approved the purchase of um, land on Thrush, which is going to be 2 lots for tornado survivors. So right there is going to be 5 families who were renters before the tornado that went through this terrible situation, but 3 years later, they're gonna be in a brand new home free of
That's awesome.
charge. They're gonna be homeowners.
That's really
It
cool.
is really cool. So thank you to Appalachian Service Project.
Very much. That's someone we didn't give a lot of love. We were talking about our nonprofits, but we have a lot of contractors and builders that give a lot of support in the community too.
Oh, especially after the tornado.
I think of Pam.
Yeah, Pam Powell,
Yeah.
she is the architect here in Clarksville. That she's our architect. We work with her on several projects. Right now, we are working with her on several
Mhm.
projects. I think I saw her yesterday.
Yeah. We just have good people in Clarksville.
Yeah, we do.
I referenced it just the other day, but when the mayor spoke at Second Harvest, one line from from the comments he gave that I really liked. He said, "In Clarksville, when there's work to be done, we roll up our sleeves and do it."
Mhm.
And I think that's very true. I'm always very proud of Clarksville, especially in the not so great times.
Absolutely. We've got great neighbors. So, and one thing, Casey, is that we work very closely, as we mentioned, with a lot of nonprofits and churches and different agencies within the city of Clarksville. And so we worked with you to try and get as much of that information out as possible. So I definitely encourage people to
Mhm,
follow the city of Clarksville's social media, as well as CNCS's social
mhm.
media, because we are always pushing that information, whether it's a turkey drive or a financial assistance class, whatever that is that different organizations are hosting. We are pushing that out. And then also contact us. My team and I, we love helping people, as I hope I've communicated that to you today. So if you have a neighbor in need, or you see somebody on a street corner that looks like they might need a little assistance, whatever it is, give us a call. We
Mhm.
we want to connect that individual. We want to hear their story, find out what's going on, and connect them with the right organization that can fill whatever need that is. So give us a call. Our number is 931-648-6133. And you can always email us at community@cityofclarksville.com.
Perfect. Thank you for joining me today. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for
I think
having
we
me.
shared a lot of good info anytime. Anytime y'all wanna come up and talk about something, you just let me know.
I'm gonna send Clarissa up here next. She loves to talk about her first time home buyer program,
Yes.
and I don't do it justice. She can really tell that story.
That
So,
will be great. I am here for it. We've already kinda said it, a few times, but, with everything going on right now, we please check out those resources we have on the site. Uh, Check out our local nonprofits who are here to help. If you're able to, provide assistance, I invite you to do so, but just as importantly, if not more importantly, if you are in need of help, I invite you, implore you to please seek that help because everybody deserves help when they need.
mhm.
So please do that. And I think that's about it. I
Yeah,
think we'll leave it
just
be.
in closing, I encourage everyone to love your neighbors.
That's a good way to close. Love your neighbors.
Mhm.
And we'll see you next time on Public Square.